Thailand is located in the middle of Southeast Asia. It borders Burma to the west and north, Laos and Cambodia to the east, and Malaysia to the south. The national language of Thailand is Thai. Traditionally, Sukhothai was considered to be the first kingdom of Thailand, which was founded in 1238. Also, the beginning of the written system using the Thai script was created by the King Lam Khamhaeng, the third king of Sukhothai. He created the inscription stone to tell the story of his period. The historical records on the stone monuments enable models to have information about the people 700 years ago. The new kingdom of Ayutthaya established in the mid-14th century after the decline of Sukhothai. In the Ayutthaya kingdom, the idea of the early kingship was inherited from its previous ruler, the Khmer. The king were Tevaraja, god kings, whose sacred power was associated with the Hindu god Indra and Vishnu. A royal vocabulary known as Raja Sap emerged. Thai constructed a royal vocabulary borrowing heavily from Khmer, Bali, and Sanskrit. These languages were borrowed into Thai by an educated Thai upper caste, specifically kings and monks, in order to discuss Buddhism. Royal verse is a special language for normal people talking to the king and the royal family. At the same time of the royal word was created, a clerical vocabulary emerged. They were smaller but similar in function to royal vocabulary. In a similar way, the clerical vocabulary composed mainly of borrowing from Khmer. However, it enabled the common people to communicate with monks, especially through education, because there were schools in the Buddhist temples. This is an example of clerical vocabulary and royal vocabulary. English, house. The clerical vocabulary is Kuti, and royal vocabulary is Wang. Hand in English. Thai monk useมือ, while the royal member use Pahat. The clerical word is Jamwat, and the royal word is Banthom. Both words mean to sleep in English. Ill in English. Thai monk use Apat, while royal word is Prachwan. Ayutthaya was destroyed by the Burmese in 1767. However, within a few years, a new capital was established at Bangkok under the first king in the present Chakri dynasty. The Ratanakosin or Bangkok period from 1782 to present. The kingdom is populated by people who spoke a number of different languages and some mostly intelligible Thai dialects. There are 4 major Thai-speaking groups taken together constitute the majority of Thailand population. The major Thai are the Central Thai or Thai Klang, the Northeastern Thai or Thai Isan, the Northern Thai or Kham Mueang, and the Southern Thai or ปักใต้ This is an example of four regional Thai for the English word hello
สวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีเจ้าสวัสดีเจ้า
สวัสดีจ้าสวัสดีจ้า
วัดดีกับวัดดีกับ
The Central Thai dialect was established as the standard Thai during the reign of King Nalai 1657 to 1688, the king of Ayutthaya. In his era, the first Thai students' book was created. It was called Jindamani. The writing system on Standard Thai was developed. Thai society has very strict rules defining everyone's position in a rigid hierarchical structure, and this extends into the language used. Social mobility is and always has been very high in Thai society. Almost everything in the Thai perception is situated in a hierarchical system. People in Thai social can be high or low on the hierarchy scale according to their age, family background, occupation or professional rank, and other circumstances like those which govern the linguistic length. A common classification of Thai language includes royal language, clerical language, standard Thai or official language, and regional language. There is the traditional way to use different types of language to match with different social status. To serve the high status, Thai people have to use higher function language. For example, in speech, the word meaning to eat, the royal vocabulary is เสวย while Mang use ฉัน The official speech is รับประทาน whereas in a conversation is often ทาน Generally at home, Thai people use กิน between family members. The other example is using first and second personal pronouns. They differ sharply in speech and social conversation. Clerical vocabulary, first person pronoun, Mang use อาตมา and คุณ for the second person. Yom for his parent or elder relative, and ท่าน in the second person when he is talking to someone who he respects. In the official speech, ข้าพเจ้า is used for the first person and ท่าน for the second person, while in the social conversation is generally ผม or ดิฉัน for the first person and คุณ for the second person. Kinship term commonly used as personal pronoun in family, such as พี่ is used for the older brother or sister as the first or second person, while น้อง is used in the same way to address a listener or speaker who is younger. Thai language reflects that Thai culture concerned about the caste and the status of people. There are variety of language used with king, monk, boss, friend, and family members. Thai people have to learn to use the right word with the right status of the people to give respect to those higher status, such as the royal and clerical vocabulary, are specially created to use with the higher status people, king, the royal family, and monks.